Okay, so today I want to talk about how belly dance and yoga can help you just reclaim your body entirely from the narcissist. This kind of healing it happens on such a deep cellular level. I really think it taps into some kind of ancestral essence because especially in belly dance, you move your body in ways that people did, 5,000 or 10,000 years ago. And we forget that. We forget how old stuff is. A lot of people might think that, belly dance especially is only like a couple thousand years old or whatever. And I disagree. I think it's ancient. I think it's absolutely ancient. And when you use something that old to recover your body and come back to center, it ignites and it lights up and it activates some part of you that just has not been touched in a long, long time. And especially with the way people carry ancestral trauma and ancestral drama and memories and things like that and experiences, all of that gets passed down in your fibers through the generations. That's why you see so many people that are interested in historical stuff, or people who want to make historical clothes, or people who want to learn canning and farming and sewing their clothes by hand, and how to make things with their hands and stuff like that, and revolt against the modern world, and disconnect from the outside and things like that. That is that's just generations of your family speaking through you. And I think that can be a beautiful thing. And especially with dance, dance is such an ancient, that's such a primal power to tap into and to express and use for your good and for your benefit and for your well-being. And that's an amazing way to reclaim who you are and reclaim yourself on deep, deep levels. So when it comes to narcissistic abuse, I would say that with the way, especially if you've got somebody, and a narcissist most certainly will do this to you, narcissistic partner, they have a tendency to, talk you into doing things with your body you don't want to do. And it doesn't have to just be sexual stuff. That can be something, that can be little things. Like they insist that y'all hold hands wherever you are, or they push you aside to get around you if they need something, like if y'all are standing in the kitchen, they'll just push you out of the way. Or you might be angry and you need to be left alone, and they'll come up and start massaging your shoulders anyway, and that just makes you angrier. Things like that. All those moments where your body is no longer, where you're reminded that your body isn't yours. Women in general have problems with this issue. But when you have a narcissistic partner that just does it times 10, it makes it that much worse than it already is. And that's no way to live, and you don't deserve to be stuck in something like that. So when you feel like, and women are especially somehow, and I don't know how people manage this, I don't know how the world has pulled this off, but they have. But we are taught that, and we're put under the impression that when a man touches us and fucks off, that he takes a part of you with him when he leaves. That's actually horse shit. That's not true. They can't take a part of you. They don't have that kind of power. No one does. But that's how it's made to feel. They remind you of that. The world lets you know that, that's probably what happened and everything else. And it's a shitty way to, that's a shitty mindset to pass on to our daughters and everybody else. So, there's no use in believing that. But because that's how we've been taught to feel, we do feel that way. And that makes that much more work for us to have to reclaim all this. So, but let me tell you, belly dance in particular, I started dancing when I was 15 years old. And I had moved away, and a friend of mine who had, just for like a split second, had forgotten that I had moved, saw classes in her local newspaper for belly dance, and we were teenagers at that time, right? And I had just moved away, and she'd forgotten about it, and for a split second she thought, oh man, I need to call Miranda and let her know that this class is in town, we're going to do this class. And I had already up and left, but she remembered it after that. And she called me anyway and told me about that, and I talked to her on the phone for a little bit. We hung up, and I'm almost wondering if that's actually the last time we spoke on the phone. I'm still in touch with her now, but like, it might be the last time me and her actually talked face to face, kind of. But anyway, so I was 15, and I thought about it, or maybe 16. And I thought about it, and I thought, man, belly dance, that's cool. That's something I've never done before. And I wasn't in I didn't do any kind of experimentation or exploring or anything like that when I was a teenager. I did not do that. There were a lot of rules, and there was no breathing room, and so I wasn't out doing drugs and drinking and with different boys every night and shit like that. That wasn't my lifestyle. And so I had just a tiny bit of control over what I was able to do. So I spent a lot of time in my room. I didn't go out and socialize. I didn't have friends and stuff like that. And girls at school hated me. And then I know now why. It's just at the time I was confused. But so I spent a lot of time in my room with my books, and that was all I did. And I was waist deep, especially at that time as a teenager. I was waist deep in my amateur Egyptology studies, and then belly dance popped up in my reality, and I just thought, well, shit, why don't I just take it all the way? So I got some tapes. I got some VHS tapes on belly dance, and later I got the DVDs. But I got a tape. I probably still have it too. It was one of the Belly Dance Superstars tapes. I got that, and it wasn't classes, it was just performances. So I had no idea what I was doing, but I watched it over and over again until I learned how to imitate what they were doing. And at the same time, I had also picked up yoga because my mother had a tape. Wait, it was Jennifer Kreis, or Kreis. Jennifer Kreis. I think it's Kreis. K-R-E-I-S-S, Jennifer Kreis. But anyway, it was her tape, and it was called The Precision Method. And I was just going through the tapes one day, and I saw that, and I thought, what's this? And I understood, like, looking at the cover, I understood what it was, but I thought, well, this is different, I'll try this. And I wasn't like, I was probably more athletically inclined than I realized. I just didn't pursue athletic stuff because it wasn't my interest. But I was very good at it, and that was a real PowerPoint for me because I was not good at anything in school. Like, I say good at it, what I mean was I wasn't making A's, like I was just getting by. I was just getting by. So I hated school. I was made to do things that I didn't have any interest in, and I knew that the shit I was being made to study wasn't going to be relevant throughout my life, and sadly I was right. It's not. I have not. In 20 years since I studied the sides of a triangle, I have never, not once, after leaving high school, had to find the sides of a triangle for any fucking thing. Not once. So, if you're in high school right now, just keep that in mind. Unless you're going to be an architect or a construction worker or something, then yeah. But if it's not that, I wouldn't worry about it. Don't let it stress you out. Just do it one time and be done with it and graduate. So, but I learned that I could do stuff with my body that I was the only person I knew who was doing that, so it made me unique. I was certainly unique in all my other ways, though. I've never met anybody who was like me, like in some ways, but not that much. But I was doing something that was unique. I was doing something that really just felt good. Like, I didn't have to have any reason or explanation, or like, there was no way I could write an essay on it, it felt good. And it was something like exotic and special and different and unusual. So I did those things, and I was good at it. And then later on when I started dating, I realized, my body wasn't mine. And went through a lot of heartache for that. And that just went on and went on and went on. But belly dance and yoga have always been there to pull me back to center every time. Belly dance looks good and it feels good, and if you like music, especially, of course, if you like percussion, it's good. Sorry, I have like a hair that's tickling my neck. So, and there's different types of belly dance. Like it varies from country to country, region to region, all that kind of stuff. You've got folk music, you've got what would be played on the radio. You could dance to modern music like their pop music or whatever. And the pop music's okay, but it sort of all sounds a little bit the same to me. So I'm not into listening to like modern music. I'm very much into folk music, and that's pretty much where I stay for the most part, unless it's like Stevie Nicks or Leonard Skinner. Besides that, like I have my preferences. I'm very picky with my music, so like one day maybe I'll show you all my playlists or something. You can see what I'm talking about. But for the most part, I listen to old-fashioned stuff, and belly dance like opened me up to this whole new world. My father was an Air Force officer, and he had already been back and forth in the Middle East a dozen times, and he always brought something back. So I already knew like who they were and was familiar with some of their stuff and the music and stuff like that. And I have a copy of the Quran. I have read it, not front to back. It's a big book, but I've read bits and pieces of it. I've studied it. I've studied the science and the math in it, things like that. And I can say it definitely has its good points. I'm not into religion in general for myself, but I will say it's definitely got some points that are worth considering. What I like is how it talks about the Big Bang Theory, because it says that the universe was sewn tightly together, and the creator ripped the threads asunder, and it just went, because it was pulled loose. That's an interesting concept. So things like that. But anyway, so I was kind of already familiar by the time I heard about the belly dance, and I thought about that, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. Why don't I just add that to my repertoire of shit I know, that I'll never be able to use in school. So, but of all the times that I was shown that my body wasn't mine, and that it was for men to enjoy, and just to use at their disposal whenever, I always had that to fall back on. And I think it's because it's so old and it's so eternal. Belly dance and yoga both. And belly dance can be a meditation. I don't think that just sitting there cross-legged with the empty rice bowl method is like the only way to meditate or get in touch with yourself. There's a million ways to get in touch with yourself, and there's a million ways to clear your mind, and there's a million ways to calm down and change your outlook and come at your day in a better way. I'm not bashing the meditation method, the Buddhist method, or whatever, I guess is what I'm referring to. But there's other ways. If that's not your style, because it's not mine. It's not mine. I have to have all of me, involved in something for me to really benefit from it, I guess. So moving my body and dance and the yoga positions and the stretching and breathing into the stretch and breathing the oxygen into all the places that don't usually get it. Your weird hip muscles, your back muscles, intercostal muscles, and neck muscles. Like how often do you find yourself doing this? And really stretching out your neck. Like, you never do that. Like, who does that? Who even thinks of that? But we should, because it's such a good thing to just really stretch out, because then you get your blood flow into your brain better, you calm down, you get more oxygen to your brain, and once it goes to your brain, your brain can operate your nerves better, your nerves communicate better with your muscles, so all that stuff is really and truly interconnected. And the slowing down and the stretching and the breathing, and people say, and you'll hear yoga instructors say, well, you got to surrender to the pose. And people, I know it sounds like it, well, it does mean that you have to like let your body just really fall into that pose, whether, and if it hurts a little bit, it's okay. If it hurts a lot, you gotta stop. But you know, a little bit of pain is okay, because it just means that you're pushing yourself into a territory you've not yet been in. But with stretching, you kind of have to do that if you want to get ahead, you know, or anything that's like mildly athletic or whatever. People talk about going to the gym and like lifting heavier than they have ever before, you know, to like get to the next level. You have to do it. So with stretching, you know, pushing yourself just a little bit, you know, every now and then is beneficial. But when you surrender to the pose, if you study yoga and you study first of all the different schools of yoga and what each one is meant to do for you and what each one awakens in you and all that kind of thing, it how do I say this? You're surrendering yourself to that part of yourself that is calling out to you and trying to guide you to your next level and to your higher self and shit like that. Like if you like, for those of you who believe in the higher self and like there's like if there was a better version of you lurking around somewhere in another dimension that's like trying to get you to come on, you know, that, you know, that kind of thing is calling out to you, and it's trying to get you to connect so that you can level up and elevate. And the yoga, surrendering to the pose, is surrendering to that power. The power is you. It's like it's a bigger form of you, you know, that's more broad, you know, a more expanded part of you. Does that make sense? Once you try it, in case what I'm saying doesn't make any damn sense, that's okay. If this is all new for you, it's fine. It takes a long time to really understand this shit, and I'm not an expert in it. I can tell you what I've done, and that's all I can tell you. But my suggestion would be to look at the different schools of yoga. Typically there's 7. Some people might tack on a couple extra or whatever. I'm not really sure about that. But for me, there's 7. Just like the main chakras, you know. And a lot of people will tell you that you've got loads more chakras, like going all the way up and all the way down, like into the earth or whatever. If you want to look into that, go ahead. You know, there's no limits to studying and expansion and learning about yourself. So, but for me, I stay with the basic stuff for now. Later on, I might like get into other stuff, but I've always been able to fall back on this and really find myself again. So that's why I use it the way I do. But when you surrender to yourself and you're surrendering to that higher part of yourself that knows what it's doing and knows what it's about and is calling you to connect, and you get all those parts of yourself integrated, and then after all the stretching and the breathing is done and your blood's moving and your nerves are working well and everything else, you come back to this room that you're in, and you come back to your life and you come back to the world, and you're so calm after that, and you're so cool and collected after that you're not worried about anything that might happen next. You know, if there's any kind of chaos around you, you know, you keep your mindset where it is. You just keep reminding yourself of what you're doing, and that you're separate from what's going on around you. You know, you're not like, if you keep telling yourself that you're stuck in shit or whatever, that's how it's going to be whatever you're going to be, whatever you tell yourself you are. So especially in yoga, when you're doing the stretching and you're meditating while you're doing this, you tell yourself either something about the pose or the school of yoga that you're doing, depending on, you know, which one you want to choose. And the real truth is, if you don't want to do all that, you just want to do your stretches, that's fine. There's no rules in this. Like, I don't tell people that they've got to choose a school of yoga and like just go by that or whatever. This is just like, if you need guidance, like a direction to go in. But if you do want to like narrow it down like that, choose a school, a branch of yoga, and really study that and use those concepts when you do your stretches. And as you do your stretches and you're breathing in, you are programming the cells in your body to go along with what you're thinking. You program them with your thoughts. And there's just, it's time for people to be able to hear this And it's time for people to be able to understand this, and it's time for people to be able to use this. Because this thing where people don't realize how much their thoughts affect their bodies, that's gotta come to an end. Because you look at the past generations and see like how they ignore their bad feelings, and they say they don't have anxiety because, like, you know, the older generation that says, oh well, you know, we didn't do therapy and all that kind of shit. We just went to Vietnam, killed a bunch of working class Asians, and came back, you know, because we're badasses and we don't do fucking therapy. So you're a pussy and you need to grow up. And they'll just be sitting there, you know, with their house paid off and everything else, and they have no idea what it's like for 20-year-olds in 2023, you know, for example, just as an example, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've all run into that. And I don't hate them, don't get me wrong, but, you know, like, I gotta tell you, I just have to say, what it is. Like, I have to tell you the truth. So, you know, that kind of thing, that we're carrying generations, however many generations of that kind of a shite mindset, and that's not going to cut it anymore. So, you've got people, however many generations of people who are just in denial of how bad they felt, and in denial about the shit they went through, and they just told themselves for however many decades, oh well, you just gotta buck up, you just gotta toughen up, you just gotta suck it up, you know, don't be a pussy, blah blah blah. And that's not helpful. So instead, what you can do to really cleanse that shit out of you is stretch it out, dance it out, exercise it out, lift it out, you know, I mean, like, you know, like in the gym lifting, you know, walk it out. If you're not good at dancing and you don't want to go to the gym or whatever, go for a walk, go for a damn hour-long power walk every day. So what? Any of that, anything like that can be good. If you want to do martial arts or Tai Chi or something like that, where you just, like, you know, regulate the flow of your life force energy, then do that. But it's high time that everybody just kind of, I hate to put it this way, I don't want to sound pushy, but I think it's high time that everybody kind of start to just accept that you program your body with what the hell you want it to do and be. And if you tell yourself shit stuff, your body's not going to feel good. It's just not going to. And you'll still be connected to it, but you'll be using that connection for shitty things like, oh, well, that's just life. You know, well, that's just how it is. And that's shitty. And it doesn't have to just be how it is. Do you know how much I screwed myself up with that mindset years ago? Oh, well, you know, my favorite thing I used to tell myself was, well, you know, this is how I've ended up. So, like, I can't fucking believe it, but this is it. You know, and I was really screwed up. I was really messed up. And I used to tell myself that, and that was horrible. And obviously I didn't end up the way I thought I was going to. Like, I'm doing way better than I ever have, ever. And so there was no reason for me to sit there and be like, at 20 years old, and be like, well, you know, this is how I fucking ended up. So this is it. This is life. My life is over. Because I thought that all of my adult life, you know, until, like, a few years ago, I started turning things around, and I just didn't look back, because I got tired of being that way, and I got tired of feeling bad, and I started doing things differently, and I started taking better care of myself. And there were times when I would get out of the belly dance and yoga, like I'd get lazy, or I'd lose interest in things, and you know, my depression would really kick up, you know, like really start to rev up, and I would quit eating. I would sleep even less than I already was, you know, and whatever else. I would just, like, torture myself, and there was no reason to be that cruel to myself. At the same time, you know, in alchemy, you have to bottom out every time you're about to level up. It's a real bitch, but that's just how it works. So, yeah, that's just how it works. But once you understand that the thoughts that you have and the things that you tell yourself about yourself especially sink into and soak into your cells and your fibers all over your body, and you send messages to your damn fibers, and you can tell it whatever you want. You can tell these fibers whatever you want to tell them. You can say anything. You're in full control. You can tell them whatever the fuck you want, but make it good. Make it good. Make it count. If you want to sit there and say, well, I'm worthless, my life is pointless, I'm not going anywhere, blah, 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 that if that's where you want to resonate, if that's what you want to marinate in, fine, because it's going to work. It's going to work because you're determined. But when you get tired of it, and it's all up to you. When you get tired of it and you say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I can't be at rock bottom anymore. Where can I go? Up. Straight up. That's the only way to go. Just go straight back up towards the light. That's it. I've said it a million times. That the only way to go is up. And you decide that you're done feeling that way, and you're done, sitting in shit, and you start telling yourself something different, and you start telling your body something different without realizing it. And you can, like I say, after narcissistic abuse, you can reclaim your body completely, because this person has, especially with a partner, obviously, it's a lot more, it's a lot deeper, right? Because they're touching you, and if it's a narcissistic partner, they're touching you in ways you don't want to be touched when you're not ready, and they will use your body. They will use your body for their advantage. And once you get away from that person and you have to rebuild yourself, tapping into ancient primal things to come back to center and discover yourself again, and reestablish your identity, reclaim your identity, and I'll go so far as to say maybe refurbish your identity and restylize yourself. That's like being reborn all over again. You're being reborn through an ancient process, but you're reborn nonetheless. But you took an old path, an old tried and true trusted path. Dance and yoga, any kind of yoga. Like there's people all around the world have done stretches and body work for God knows how many millennia. So I'll just say yoga because it's something everybody knows about, right? But I mean, there's stuff all over the world that has something like that. If you would do your research on that and find out something that's like more in tune with your own ancestral stuff, you can do that as well. There's everybody. I don't want to say everybody has something because I don't know that, but like there's stuff everywhere that you can find. But taking back your body like that is especially for women is going to be one of the best things you've ever done for yourself, because our body is used by everyone in our presence who needs us. It's used by everyone who wants us and needs us. It's critiqued by everyone who wants us and needs us. It's measured up, and criticized and judged and mocked and ridiculed and glorified and degraded, by everyone who somebody who wants you and or needs you. Like we're just really set up for attack, and I think things are starting to turn around in that way. I think women are starting to reclaim their bodies in ways they have in a long, long time, which it makes me feel good, because it needs to happen. It needs to. And so that's why I push for belly dance and yoga, especially with clients, because it feels good. It feels good to own your body again. It feels good to say, no, this is mine. I'll do what I want with it. If I don't want you if I don't want you fooling with me when I'm trying to do something important, I'm not going to, and then eventually once you get away from the narcissist and you finally have some peace and quiet, and you don't have anybody, pinching your chest when you're trying to do something in the kitchen, and you can finally just do shit in peace, you'll that's the process. That's how you start reclaiming it, because you let yourself understand that your body is yours, and you can do with it what you want. You can program it the way you want. You can start telling it whatever you want. You can breathe oxygen into it and breathe life into it, and especially in breathing and just in general. And I wouldn't say I'm some breathwork expert. I've used it in the past. I don't like it for myself so much. Like I don't do I don't do like, all kinds of weird breathwork techniques and stuff like that. And I don't like, for myself, I don't like the belly breathing in particular. That's not really my thing. I took like a couple classes on it, but I didn't like it. I thought I was gonna like it, and I was like, I was gonna try it because it was like the new thing, but I didn't. I wasn't into that, so I don't use it so much for myself. Sometimes I'll suggest it to clients, like if I think they could benefit from it, but for the most part, for me, I don't really do it. The only thing I do is like just plain old deep breathing, because when you're doing the deep breathing, yoga or not, you don't have to be doing that. You could just be sitting at your desk at work and do deep breathing. You know what I mean, that's this good thing about breathing is you can do it anywhere, anytime. Nobody can say shit to you. You can be driving, you can be anywhere, in the waiting room, wherever. And when you're doing the deep breathing, I want you to go in as far as you can. As far as you can. Your lungs will stop you at a certain point. You're not going to pop them or anything like that. Like, you're not going to hurt yourself with this. But when you go in deep, I want you to see all of those little alveoles and things, like, expanding all the way, because your lungs have, there's like three, not layers, there's like 2 or 3 different things that the air goes into, and it expands further and further, like those little tree things, and usually I'm good with anatomy. Right now I'm forgetting my words, so just bear with me. But if you look at the lungs and you look at it zoomed in and shit, it just, the little pockets and stuff, they go on and on and on. And when you are breathing like that, I want you to see the oxygen going deeper and deeper into all those little pockets, all those little bubble things, and just each one of them just opening up, you know what I mean? And just let it really saturate you. And when you're doing that, just tell yourself one good thought. It doesn't have to be some like grand guru type shit, some kind of hardcore enlightened Bhagavad Gita type stuff. If you need to just tell yourself something simple like, today is going to be a good day, or I'm a good person, or I deserve good things, or I'm going to eat good today for my body, or I'm going to sleep good tonight because I deserve it. Anything, just tell yourself whatever you want, whatever it is that you need to hear. Tell yourself that, and let that oxygen just take that thought into your body, into your fibers, and let it soak into all your cells. Let it soak into your chest. And then let the blood just take those thoughts all over your body, into all of the parts of you, your muscles, your nerves, your bones, all the fascia, all the tissues, all that shit. And just let it soak in. And you do that as many times as you need to. If you're in a moment at work where you're pissed off and somebody has said something real damn condescending to you, and that's always pisses me off, is the condescending stuff. And you just need to realign your chi before you twist somebody's head off. You can do that, and you do that as much as you need to until you just calm the hell down. I've had to do it. And it does work. You just have to be patient with yourself. You got to be patient with yourself, because you're doing new things. You're doing new things with your body. You're getting in touch with your body. And like I say, especially for women, being in touch with our bodies is a number one requirement, because you are designed to be sensual, and we're taught that just means sex, and that's not what it means. I mean, but that's not all that it is. Sensual is anything that feels good to your body, and that can be eating, wearing comfortable clothes, doing a movement that feels good. Of course, like belly dance, we know that, right? Or putting on, body butter or something, and taking a bubble bath, whatever, anything like that just feels good all over to you, and you're treating your body good, and it just feels good, period. You don't have to have an explanation. You don't have to have a reason. Women are taught that they've got to explain themselves, times 10, especially in the wounded feminine. Oh, well, I had to do this because blah, 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 and it's a paragraph. You don't have to do that. It's just, you just say your thing, and you say your thought or whatever, or what you're going to do, and then that's it, and you just leave it at that. And you do it with other people, and you do it with yourself. Somebody wants you to write a fucking essay explaining yourself? Nah, goodbye. So don't do it to yourself either. So when you, and a lot of women who are in wounded feminine, who are having a problem with the over-explaining and stuff like that, or thinking they've got to find a reason to explain why they're doing what they're doing, and they'll do it to themselves too. Like, they'll say, okay, so I'm going to try this, or I'm going to eat this red velvet cake or whatever. Okay, so why do I need to do this? Because I've been trying to eat better, blah, blah, blah. And it's like you just start attacking yourself. You got to quit doing that. You got to quit doing it. We're leaving that behind. That's old. That's old news. We're done with that. It's time to start doing something different. It's time to start doing shit for yourself just because. Just because. You've done enough for everybody else. You've done enough. It's time to start doing something for you. And so many women are starting at the bottom, of that. At the bottom of that, I don't want to say hill, but, starting from square one. Like, I'm going to, make sure I go to bed, an hour earlier tonight and get a little bit more rest. And for a lot of us, that's like, real rebellious. Because all the shit we have to do for everybody. So everybody starts somewhere. If you need to start small and start basic and start simple, don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. You just tell yourself what you need to tell yourself, and you start there, and then that's it. No explanations needed. To hell with that. So, when you start telling your body things you want to tell it, I'm going to be good to myself today, and you don't have to be specific. You can just say that. And then throughout your day, you make little choices here and there, at any opportunity that you want to take, to just do something kind for yourself, or something that you have to do. You do it in a way that's kind to yourself. You're going to go to a job you don't like. You're going to do it for yourself in a kind way, and you're going to say, you know what? This is a job. It's not who I am. I'm not a man. This isn't who I am. It's just a job. It's not me. I'm just going to go in, do what I know I'm supposed to do. Everybody that has a problem can just sit there and have a problem, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do what the manager tells me, and that's it. I'm not going to get worked up about this shit. And sometimes you just have to train yourself. You just got to train yourself to do it. But I've had to do that many, many times, and I know how that feels. But you just have to train yourself. If you need to write that down and paste it on the wall somewhere where you can see it every day, or when you're going out the door every morning for work, and you need to read that before you go out the door, then do that. If you need to put it in your car, do that. Whatever it takes to just retrain your brain and reprogram the damn neurons and everything else that are in there to start having a better attitude about yourself and about your life. And so when it comes to getting in touch with your body, you start treating your body good, and once your body starts feeling good, you'll feel good about everything else. When your body feels good, that is gonna really change your attitude, because you're gonna be more in touch with yourself. You're gonna be more grounded. You're gonna be more centered. You're gonna be deeper in the earth. I don't know how to explain that. Like, I know that sounds weird, but once you try it, you'll see what I mean. Just you're gonna come down, like. Because when you're not in your body, you feel like you're fucking everywhere, just like a tree with a lot of branches, just going out, and you're all over the place, and you're scattered, and you're, like the Big Bang, you're just fucking everywhere. And you have to call all that back. All that shit has to recoil back. You just gotta bring it back. Bring all those parts of you back, and drop down into the earth, and you just stay there. And anytime you start feeling like you're going fucking crazy, you just come back and drop back down into the earth. There are people who go outside and just dig their feet into the dirt when they're feeling frantic, or anxious about something or whatever, and they just go outside and just dig their feet into the dirt, and they just stand there with their feet in the earth. And they just chill until they feel better. There's people that do that. I think it's perfectly fine if that's something you want to try. Fucking do it. Who are you hurting? Nobody. You know what I mean? So if you need to do something weird like that, then do it. If you can't do that, if you live in an apartment complex or your neighbors are weird or whatever, and you don't want to be seen doing that, it doesn't have to be earth. It can be water. You can fill up the tub. A whole salt bath would be even better, but if you can't do that or you don't have time, fill up the tub enough to just get your feet in, and just stand there in the still water in the tub, and just let the water calm you down. You know what I mean? And just bring you back to center. And then throughout your day, since you didn't if if you're more of a water person than an earth person, you can just imagine yourself like at the bottom of the ocean where it's calm and dark and quiet, and there's not a whole lot of fast activity or shit like that, not a lot of crazy stuff going on. It's just very calm, dark, and quiet, and silent, and easygoing. And you can imagine that throughout your day. I've had people do that, you know, just to calm down. If you're into water, or if you like ocean shit even, you know, just then try that. And you can calm down and come back to your primordial waters by doing that, which is the amniotic fluid, in case no one knows. The waters of chaos. You start out in the waters of chaos. Oh, in the beginning there was darkness, and there was just the water, and the Spirit of God moved across the water. Yeah, I know, it's the uterus. Yeah, I already know that, thanks. No offense, but yeah, we know. So, that's probably the only thing I can quote. Don't test me, because I don't know anything else. Like, I went to Catholic school. They don't make us... The Catholics don't master the verses, so don't ask me anything else, because I'm not going to be able to tell you. That's all I know. But anyway, so, but come back to that. And when you come back in your body like that, and you just drop down, you know, there's something ancient about that. Something, you know, primordial about that. That's like, it's where like nothing can touch you down there. You know what I mean? Like nothing can get to you, and you're just in this dark, safe space. The Indians in the Southwest, I forgot which group it was, but the Indians in the Southwest, a lot of times they have a ceremony that they do. I don't know if it was the Navajo, or no, it might be the Hopi that do this. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember anymore, because I haven't studied that stuff in so long, I can't remember. I used to be waist deep in it, but it's been a long time. I have those books, but I just haven't read them in so long. But I want to say it's the Hopi who dig like a big underground room, and for certain ceremonies, and they get down there, and they'll chill down there, and just they'll stay there for as long as they need to, or whatever, for some kind of awakening, or like a spiritual elevation of some kind, or whatever. And the understanding is that you drop down into the earth, and you go back to the beginning, and just like you cleanse yourself, you know, and you just come back to the beginning of the beginning. Does that make sense? If I was writing and like had more time to like think out what I was saying, I'd probably make more sense. But with this being a live video, I'm just like saying it off the top of my head. So it's different when you're just doing a video, but because I don't script any of this, I just get on here and talk. So, but that's, you know, if that puts it in perspective. So, like I say, with the belly dance and yoga in particular, that is something that really gets you there in that place. And it's one of the most liberating things I've ever done for my body, besides just like wearing what I want and eating what I want. Which of course are also a big part of somatic healing, and people don't realize that. People don't know. They might think that it's just that it's lofty stuff, new stuff, like I say new, it's not really new, but it's like having a renaissance, the breath work and the tapping and shit like that. The Chinese were doing tapping 10,000 years ago. That's not new. So people in California probably started it 10 years ago, but that's old. So anyway, I can't get into comparison, because if that, you know, there's that stuff, and then but if you're like me, you just want to really keep it simple and keep it more, you know, almost want to say dark feminine in a way, which by the way is going to be my next course. I've finally decided. Next course I'm going to release is how to get into your dark feminine and use that to your advantage, and use your own primal power to your advantage. So that's going to be a big deal. It's going to take me a while to put it together, because there's going to be a lot to it, and it's going to be detailed, and it's going to be thorough like my other courses. So it's not going to be something I can just knock out in a weekend, but that's going to be my next course. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, because I'm going to be starting it. In fact, I'll probably start it this week, to be honest with you, because I'm feeling it. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's, I may leave it at that. I may leave the video at that. I think I'm done. I'll probably do another video on this later, like maybe expand it a little bit or get more specific. That's the water in the pipes. Sorry. I just hear this. But anyway, so that, yeah, that's it for the somatic healing with belly dance and yoga in particular. I think I've said everything I want to say about that. But basically, you get the idea. And if you're, and look, belly dancers, especially the professional ones that like you see on videos and stuff, and belly dance superstars and all of them. Ranya's probably my favorite, but I also like I like Ansuya, and I like who's that girl that studied Hawaiian dance? Not Sonia. No, is it Sonia? Is that her fucking name? I can't remember. But anyway, Ranya's my favorite. And I follow her on Facebook, but she used to be on Instagram, but I think she deleted it because I can't find it anymore. She has a Facebook page, but she's not on there a whole lot. But anyway, those are some of my favorites. But so when you see the professional ones and you see the girls that are like dancing on stage at competitions and shit like that, they make it look easy. At first, you know, it may or may not be. What makes belly dance kind of tricky is you have to learn muscle isolation, and you have to learn how to hold the rest of your body still while you're just doing one thing. Like, you know, if I was standing, I could do better, but I may save that for a separate video, to be honest with you. But like holding other parts of you still and learning muscle control for just certain muscle groups and shit. But I tell you, you can, there's so many videos on YouTube you can watch to learn how to do this, and it's once you get the hang of it and you realize it's not that big of a deal and it's not hard and it's something that you can do, it's something that'd be natural to you for your skeleton, you know, for the female skeleton. And you know, you have such an amazing body, and you have it does so many amazing things. And it's a crying shame for women to hate their bodies and be disconnected from them, and not use them, you know, to their own advantage, and not use them to just feel good, just for the sake of feeling good. This is part of the feminine, you know, is to feel good just for the sake of feeling good. Because we have so much other shit we have to do. So the blessing in that is that we get to do shit just because. And eating what you want, wearing the shit you want, sleeping whatever you want, you know, or taking care of yourself in some other way, the bubble bath, the wine, the belly dance, the yoga, the going for a walk, the breathing exercises, the massage, you know, the oil massage, the body butter, whatever the fuck else, the hair treatment, face treatment, all of that stuff that you do for your body just because, just for the hell of it, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do that. And we're taught that that's spoiling ourselves, and that's you know, kind of selfish to just take a day for yourself and shit like that, because the world is operating from somebody's point of view who does not want us to do well, and they are telling us, no, you're not, your body's not for you, it's for me. Put that lotion down, you know, you're not going to do your massage right now, you're going to get to work and do that, you know. So we have to, it's time to be done with that. So you start doing shit for yourself in whatever ways you want, and that's gonna be it. So once you, and so like I say, once you really like collect all that shit back, right, and come back down into your body and come back down into your abdomen and just sit there and just appreciate the power that's between your legs. You'll see what I mean. I may go off into that direction with a course or two later on and get more specific, but we'll see what happens. But I'm thinking that I might do that. So, but anyway, Dark Feminine course is coming up. I think I'm gonna start that this week, and that's it. So that's all I want to tell you. I hope that was helpful. I hope that pointed you in the right direction. I hope that gave you some ideas. Like I say, don't let the belly dance scare you. It's tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, I promise, once you start and then you start buying the costumes and shit, oh my God. I ought to make a video and just show you all the stuff I have. And I'm probably going to take some pictures too, because I think that'd be fun. Because I haven't taken pictures in costumes in forever. But it's been a long time since I performed publicly, so I mean, I have them. It's just like, if there's nowhere to wear them, then why wear them? You know what I mean? So like, but anyway, so that's it. I hope that helped you out. I hope that gave you some ideas and some encouragement. And like I say, you just got to come back to your body and let your body work for you. Let it be what it wants to be, which is good and loose and welcoming and open to the possibilities and open to the blessings and open to encouragement and open to genuine worship and open to all the things that feel good and all the good programming you can do with it, and the way that you can turn your life around just by feeling good in your body is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable the things that change. So I want you to keep those things in mind when you are reclaiming yourself from the narcissist, is reclaiming your body and how important that is. I know I didn't mention the narcissist so much in this video, but I don't want to talk so much about them anymore. I think I've talked about them long enough, and I want to, I want to start talking about you. And so I think I'm gonna be narrowing down my topics and things like that. But anyway, that's it for now. I hope this was helpful. And if you're, like I say, if you're in my Facebook group, you can give me topics for videos and stuff. I do video responses for comments and questions and stuff like that. So, because people mention such specific things in there, everybody in there, like every time somebody comments or asks a question, it's such a good topic for a video every time. So if you want to contribute to that and give me topics, you can join my Facebook group, How to Stop Attracting Narcissists for Women Only. And that is a very good safe space. We've got a very good group of girls in there. We've got almost 600 people, I think. And so far so good. It's really grown. It's just a very good group. And that's it, yeah. So you can join there and give me my topics, ideas for programs, ideas for challenges, and all kinds of good stuff. I'm very more focused in there, and I'm very you get a lot more one-on-one with me in there and all that kind of good stuff. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Bye.